A tree takes, let's say, 100 years to grow, but it might take a few minutes to be destroyed. Today we'll discuss something which is very close to my heart, but we have never delved into something like this. We are talking about trees, and especially old trees. I'm not saying new trees don't have any benefits, they do. I'm not saying bushes don't have any benefits, they do. I'm not saying vegetables or any other greens don't have benefits, because all of them do. Hello, universes. We'd like to go back and let's be friends together. Hello there. Welcome to our channel, my friend Bob. Today we'll discuss something which is very close to my heart, but we have never delved into something like this. We are talking about trees, and especially old trees. The property I live on, I've been here for more than a couple of decades. And one of the things which I saw when I bought this house, my house had a lot of old trees, between 60 to 100 years. And I was not initially able to figure it out. There were 4 or 5 trees, and I just love those. It gives your backyard a look that is just so calm. Before I tell you more about my own property, the other thing which I started seeing around in our region, people started putting their old houses down and started building new ones, bigger houses. Back then, they were called the McMansions. First thing which will go with the house itself, with it, all the trees which were on the property. It used to make me sad. Same thing happened if somebody moved out of their house and somebody else came in, they will get rid of trees. And I never understood why people do that. I understand because something happened to me, that's where I will join the story. So the trees I had, there was one tree which was closer, which was very tall and closer to the back of my house. So in case if a strong storm happened or anything like that, there was a fear that it can fall on top of the roof. That was the only tree I let go. And sometimes some decisions have to be made for safety. What I did not know at that time that you can prune a tree and keep it healthy, because then I did to my other trees. Came Sandy, if everybody remembers, I had trees in the really back of my house where my big garden is now. And because of the storm, a tree fell. And I couldn't do anything about it other than it fell. So we had to clear everything. But all that said, why trees? That's the question. And I will emphasize more on older trees. I'm not saying new trees don't have any benefits, they do. I'm not saying bushes don't have any benefits, they do. I'm not saying vegetables or any other greens don't have benefits, because all of them do. But we will try to just look into the benefits of older trees. Old trees are like apartment buildings for birds, for animals, for bats, even for fungi and things to that nature. So that's the very first thing that an older tree brings. Then they are also soil builders. The root system of an older tree, which will be much deeper. And with older trees, with the roots, and in fall, when the leaves fall, what happens is at that time, it's helping to improve your soil both ways. The root system is doing it, and then the leaves, when they fall, they are very handy. Now, this helps in improving the microbial life of your soil. So it's generally a win-win situation. Now, with bigger trees, as I said, the root system typically will be deeper. So they also help with soil erosion. So when it rains too much, it takes care of things that, generally speaking, if you don't have older trees, you would not find that benefit. Nowadays, you keep on hearing about floods happening. Surely floods could be to do with the climate change, or us humans have moved into areas where there should have been wildlife and trees. So it could be a mixture of many things. So I'm not saying just having old trees will protect you from floods. But what I'm trying to mention is that they could be one of the tools. Now, if you live close to a stream or some kind of natural water, old trees almost like talk to each other, and they will help each other. These old trees become almost like forest connectors, and they will help with vast underground fungi and many other beneficial things which are inside the ground and which we cannot see from our naked eye. They are genetic treasures. If a tree is 100 years old, it has been there. It might know that environment or the shift in environment better than what us humans might. So there is another benefit of old trees. Just a little bit of personal something. I had to get some things done in my house. So for that, around me, you have to go to the town. You have to get some certifications. And one of the things they come and do, somebody comes and surveys your area. They tell you exactly what your boundary is and many other things, but boundary is one of them. I was so surprised to see on that survey that my backyard back in the day, almost 100 or so years ago, was divided into different areas. There is a strip where there were roses. Then there's a strip which were trees. And people who in my neighbors have not taken the trees down, you can see that straight line. So if other people further down or further this way would not have taken their tree downs and then now their roads and other things, you would be able to see a straight line of trees. So there's a history behind it. A tree takes, let's say, 100 years to grow, but it might take a few minutes to be destroyed, to be taken down. Now, everybody talks about, or many people talk about, carbon dioxide, the increase of carbon dioxide in the air. One thing which naturally, the way our natural ecosystem is, trees breathe carbon dioxide and they put out oxygen. So they do the reverse of human beings. So having trees, you are cleaning your air. It does lock carbon dioxide in its bark, in its roots, and that is another way of helping the planet, helping the environment around you. Then older trees with the natural canopy, they become natural coolers. So during summer, it would, if you have trees around you, keep your temperature lower by some Fahrenheit or some degree centigrade. So that's another thing one needs to remember. And the canopy around the tree creates its own ecosystem where there will be moisture. And again, not only it's cooling the area down for us, it's also making the life of birds and bats and other things a bit simpler to live. So with us human beings, we could have the privilege of having air conditioning, and during very hot season, we can be inside, indoors. But with birds and other things which don't have that luxury, trees help to cool the temperature down. Now, a question should be asked, or would be asked, then why we should protect them? As I said earlier, a tree might take 100 years to grow, but a few minutes to be taken down. The other thing with older trees, and at this point, let's compare an older tree to a newer tree. The complexity what an older tree goes through is very different than a new tree. With new trees, one thing which I've seen people started doing a lot, they use ornamental trees which flower, but they are not from your region. Things to that nature. You know how asthma and other health issues are going higher? That's the reason, because that new tree is not suitable for your environment. Also, by the time this new tree that you planted will get somewhere, I think you and I will be gone. I know it's sad to, it's horrible to say that way, but that's the honesty of our lives. So last but not least, they are part of our heritage. They are part of our culture, and they are a living history to wherever we live. I hope that this episode did not sound like preaching. It was my own intention to discuss about a subject that typically we will talk about growing plants. But with trees, there is something that helps the environment, helps your quality of life. If you are in a house or in an apartment where you don't have too much space, you can grow bushes, and grow bushes around your windows. Those also help. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new. Like and subscribe, and write something down in the comment section, because as I always say, we're trying to build a community, and hopefully one day we will be a big, happy community. Goodbye.